His name is Bienvenue, which means bear wolf. So he is a hybrid of a bear and a wolf. I just wanted to put on a bit more weight and look a bit more like a bear than I do normally.
Yeah, it worked. Good morning, Alexander. How are you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm very good, thank you. I had the chance to meet Robert last week in Paris, spent 20 minutes talking about the film together. So it's a pleasure meeting you too to make it all about the movie. My first question is about the Viking building Amleth, and I wanted to know how you work on, firstly, the Viking folklore, and secondly, on the physical, mental preparation, becomes this wolfy warrior. So how did you get becoming a Amleth?
First, it was important to understand the time he existed, lived in, and how a Viking 1,000 years ago perceived the world around him. The Norse mythology with the 9 realms, the belief system, all the spiritual creatures that existed. It's a big part of the movie, the supernatural elements. We wanted them to feel real to the characters. And in order for them to feel real, again, in the movie, Amleth doesn't question why he's being picked up by a Valkyrie, because to him, it's actually, that's what happens. When you're dead, if you're lucky, you get picked up by a Valkyrie and you get taken to Valhalla. So it was important to understand his relationship to the supernatural. And that entailed just reading a lot about Norse mythology, watching a lot of lectures online, talking to Viking historians. I had a better understanding of the culture and the people of the time. The physical aspect was, like you mentioned in the beginning of the movie, Amleth is a berserker. His name is Bienvenue, which means bear wolf. So he is a hybrid of a bear and a wolf. I just wanted to put on a bit more weight and look a bit more like a bear than I do normally.
Yeah, it worked. There's also something Robert told me, for York and Nordic people, making a movie about Vikings, it's not you don't go straight away. You want something, like you said, very authentic. And there's this thing, you're also a producer to the movie, and there's this thing about musical instruments, about filming on set in Iceland and stuff. So it's also seemed very important, the cultural aspect of the Viking culture in this film.
It all started with a desire to make a big epic Viking adventure movie, but with historical accuracy, and create a world that felt as close to what it would have looked and felt like to be in a Nordic country 1,000 years ago. There's been a lot of Viking stories that were, and I'm not against taking lots of creative freedom and updating it and maybe putting our moral compass on a project through the lenses of 2022, but our desire was to try to create something truthful and the way it actually was. When Robert and I first started talking, he had just done The Witch, and you could tell by watching The Witch that his attention to detail is extraordinary. For the Northman, he spent 3 years just basically becoming a Viking expert historian, and he knew everything about how the long ships were built. You spend some time talking to him. The amount of knowledge he has is really impressive, and it was great for us actors stepping onto set, because that set, that it looks like it would have done 1,000 years ago, and it's not just a facade. The buildings were built over a year before we started shooting the movie, so that the grass would really grow in and it's authentic. All the clothes were historically accurate. There were nothing anachronistic about it, and that was a real treat, and again, of utmost importance to all of us, that it would feel real.
Thank you very much. My time is almost over. I have one little question. Would you recommend seeing The Witch and the Lighthouse prior to The Northman?
You absolutely don't have to see The Witch and the Lighthouse before The Northman. It's not a trilogy. They're not connected in any way, but people have not seen The Witch and the Lighthouse, 100% go see them, because they're extraordinary films.
Thank you very much, Alexander. My time is over, but it was an honor and a pleasure talking to you today.
Merci beaucoup.
Good luck on the film. Merci à vous.